Welcome back to another episode of 24/7 Laredo News Talk Show. Hi, I'm your host, Jesus Chugarza. This is an original free and independent news site. Talk about issues affecting Laredo. Please like us on Facebook and subscribe on our channel on YouTube so you can keep up with our programs. Today, we're talking to Congressman Henry Cuellar about the COVID-19 relief bill that he moderated or chaired this past weekend with the House of Representatives. First thing I was going to ask you, Congressman, the issue, the role you took over the weekend, I was flipping channels and I got on C-SPAN and suddenly I saw you there overseeing the whole COVID-19 relief packet legislation. What were your thoughts when we were going through that?
Well, first of all, it was an honor to do that, because you're talking about a big package, $1.9 trillion, $1.9 trillion. And so I certainly want to thank Nancy Pelosi for giving me that honor. On some of the biggest bills, they've been asking me to get up there to manage them because I've been doing this for a while, so I got a little bit of experience. But it worked out well. It was delayed for a while, but we got it passed over to the Senate, and the plan is that this week the Senate's going to be working on this. They should vote on it by Saturday at the latest. And then next week around this time on Tuesday, a week from today, we'll vote on it and send it to the president.
Good. So it's just less than 7 days. We'll know more or less its final passage. When you started the process, Congressman, there was a lot of talk about bipartisanship, that many of the Republicans, you took off the minimum wage issue and pretty much it was just COVID-19 relief. And there was a push for bipartisanship. What happened, Congressman?
I certainly wish it would have been bipartisan. But if you look at the history of budget reconciliation, which is a process that allows expedited approval of certain legislation, it doesn't matter if it's initiated by Democrats or Republicans, the other side automatically pretty much votes no on it. It doesn't support it. That's just, unfortunately, look at the history, and that's what it was. There was an attempt by, I think, 10 Republicans, senators that met with the president, but they wanted to have like 1/3 of the amount. And since it was 1/3 of the amount, they pretty much felt, well, we need to move forward on this because there was an adjustments on certain things. It was just shrink it down to 1/3. So therefore, the decision was to move forward and hopefully get some Republicans on board. But as you can see, it's become partisan, but it happens under both Democrats and Republicans. If I had it my way, it would have been bipartisan, but there's other people in charge.
Well, I understand, Congressman. Then for you, this bill represents certain priorities that are good for the district. Could you explain to the district or to the those watching what specific part of the bills stand out for you that are good for the community?
There's a lot of things there that will be very helpful. I know, first of all, the $1,400 that individuals will be getting is important. A family of 4, for example, could get $5,000, for example. And of course, it's not only the stimulus check, but there's unemployment at $400. And then, of course, there's money for vaccines and for distributions, especially now that we got the 3rd vaccine, Johnson & Johnson, to get those over. As you know, the vaccines are free. People are not supposed to be charging you because you, the taxpayers, all of us have paid for it. Sometimes there's an administrative fee, but the vaccine is already paid by the taxpayers. And on top of that, there's about $130 million for public schools. There's another $40 billion for colleges and universities. So you add the $130 billion for public schools, $40 billion for both university and colleges. That's about $170 billion for our schools and our universities. There's also monies going off to the cities and counties and the state. Depending what happens in the Senate, the state of Texas will get about $27 billion. out of the $27 billion, $10 billion will go to cities and counties. Roughly speaking, Webb County should be getting about $54 million. City of Laredo might be getting about $96 million. And this is all estimates, depending what happens on the Senate. Rio Bravo, El Cenizo should be getting about $1 million or $500,000. And of course, Zapata we should get about $3 million and so on. Those monies will be important because, as you know, cities and counties have been struggling, and they will be able to use this in many ways to help our communities.
Congressman, going back to the issue of the $1,400 stimulus, pretty much everyone who got it back last year will probably end up getting it again. Up to what, about 100,000 or 150,000? What is the salary cap for that?
Yeah, it's you can get the full amount if you're single at 75,000, and then it eases up to 100,000, or if it's a couple, it'll be 200,000. It'll ease off on that, and again, we're trying to get it targeted to the people that need the help. The Senate is talking about making some adjustments, and we'll see if they're going to target that a little bit more.
What was good, Congressman, that you all added was those people who are dependent on other family members, adults, and that's a big plus for a lot of people there. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people who are dependent on other people in this community, and that's going to help. And then I also noticed that you also included a lot of tax credits, or certain tax credits for children, for those who have children.
Exactly, and you're right. It does cover adult dependents. It also covers mixed families. Under the First CARES Act, if the husband was a U.S. citizen and the wife was not, it was in the middle of getting the paperwork, the whole family would not be covered. Now, except for that person who's doesn't have the papers, the rest of the family members that are American citizens will get the money, but not that particular individual. So, there's not only that, but we also have monies for small businesses. The PPPs will be there also. Also, I worked with Chairwoman Nidia Velasquez to try to get a little bit of extra money, and we're hoping this will be part of that for areas like the border area that have been hit pretty hard because of no Mexican shoppers. So there should be some assistance there also for those businesses.
Incredible. So you pretty much covered the whole possible range of damages that occurred because of coronavirus. I did notice a year ago, Congressman, you all passed an additional bill, or a bill that you gave monies to FEMA to help people who had issues paying some of the funeral expenses. Do you remember that particular bill?
Yes, and we're if everything stays on board, we should have monies also to help with funeral expenses.
Right, and that's a big deal. We lost over 700 people, Congressman, last year, and unfortunately, many people couldn't afford or got into debt even burying their loved ones, and so that's certainly going to help them. And it's a small bill, a small section of the bill last year that y'all did. That's going to be very appreciated in this community as well. So
and you're right. I mean, when somebody has to bury a loved one, it's expensive. I mean, you're talking about thousands and thousands of dollars. So that assistance will be there. We also, as you know, because of the snow that we had, we also wrote a letter to the president asking them to cover some of our counties, and Webb County was covered. We're working on the other counties also. To get more counties so we can get assistance, not only for the COVID, but also because of the snow or the the blackouts that we had recently also.
Right. Okay. We're going to take a short break at this time, and we'll be right back with Congressman Henry Cuellar.
there's a place, a school, an institution where a professor resides. Listen to words of Professor Buitron. Come train at the best-kept secret of Laredo, Buitron Academy, 956-401-4868, savant.biz.
We're back with Congressman Henry Cuellar to talk to us about the COVID-19 relief bill that just passed, is waiting Senate approval. The last question was the issue of minimum wage. Obviously, the Democratic Party definitely, and actually, if you do the surveys, the majority of the public supports, even businesses support the minimum wage through a graduated scale. You all passed it. It now goes to the Senate. What do you think is going to happen there?
Well, the Senate parliamentarian already said no to it because it doesn't fall under what they call the Burt rule, which means that it has to have a direct budgetary impact. And since this is seen as incidental, it would not be covered on it. So something has to be done separately. But as you know, they're going to need 60 votes. So they need to get 10 Republicans. So it's going to depend on the Senate Democrats to see if they can get 10 Republicans on some sort of compromise to get this done. And I hope, you mentioned, look, if you're a big company, McDonald's or let's say Walmart or some of the big companies, you might have the resources. But if you're a mom and pop store and your business has been hurting, let's say you're at the border, and 50 to 75% of your business depends on the Mexican shoppers, and that's been closed this March for 1 year, and you're barely hanging on, and then you're telling them, hey, you got to double the amount of salary paid that you do. Will that small business be able to handle that? And so we need to keep in mind that there are small businesses that probably need some sort of tax credit or some assistance to help them, because the big boys, they can afford it.
Yeah, they can.
A small mom and pop will have some problems on that.
Especially with COVID-19 really doing a devastating impact in our community. Definitely the minimum wage will affect a lot of the small businesses. And I'm hopeful, though, that on the other side, of course, we do need to raise the minimum wage, that maybe the government can step in. The government can step in through tax credits and figure out a way to find a balance to help out the businessmen as well as those who are working. So, but that might be.
And you're right. I mean, we do need to raise the minimum wage, but we just got to keep the small mom and pop stores in mind, because COVID-19 has hit hard. Then you take the business from Mexico away, and that's a double whammy. So, so we're giving them a PPP to help them stay afloat. And then we're saying, by the way, we're going to give you this, but now we're going to, you might have to do that. So we got to find that balance.
Last question, the dealing with the bridge closing, it's almost been a year pretty much. What are your thoughts on that issue, and how do you think that's going to resolve itself?
Well, we're preparing another letter to the president. We sent one to, of course, to the former Homeland Secretary, but we want to send it now under the new administration, asking them to, see if we can open up the border in a safe way, area by area. Community decides. Looks like the cases are going down. And look, Tree, what's happening right now, Judge, is this. It's very simple. If you're looking at it, right now they're letting undocumented people come into the U.S. I mean, they are. They're releasing them at bus stations and holding institute Catholic services. But the legal visa holders, the Mexicans that spend over $19 billion, they're not letting those people in. And I see a little disconnect there, that they're letting the undocumented in without even giving them COVID-19 or checking them for COVID-19. And the legal ones with the visas, the ones that come spend a lot of money here and have family members. They haven't seen their family members in about a year. They're not letting those people in. So I'm working to see if we can open this up. Every day I get calls and texts from people from Laredo and other places. When are they going to open up? When they will open up? I've been pushing, but as you know, this is this decision is by the White House.
No, and we understand. I think for the most part, everyone understands that something obviously at the beginning was certainly very necessary. I think most people supported it. But we are getting to the point now that we need to reconsider it and hopefully open up the border because our economy is in shambles in many, many places along the border. Hopefully that would help. Congressman, I want to thank you very much for being able to talk to us. I look forward to talking to you in the near future again. I hope this bill passes and hope we'll see you again on C-SPAN as well and be the temporary speaker again. You did a good job.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, and we'll see you very soon.
Thank you.
Take care.
We'll be talking to you soon. Thank you. Thank you. Congressman, thank you very much for keeping us informed. You have really relayed some very important information for the public that's going to help a lot of people in the community. Thank you, and the public does appreciate the information you provided us. Of course, I want to thank you, the public, for watching as well. You can check our YouTube channels and subscribe to us so you can keep up with other programs that we have going. And also, I remind everyone to please stay home, stay safe, and have a blessed day. Thank you for watching.